The crypto market has been moving down today, and you know what that means, right? I had to plunder the stashes, take some of these stable coins and dump them into these deliciously oversold altcoins. As it currently stands, the entire space is down. I mean, until about an hour ago, there was literally not a single coin up on the 24-hour chart. Just now, though, real assets like FartCoin are doing well. It's up like 15% throughout the day, 7 and some percent on the hour. But generally, nothing in the top 100 was coming up. Everything was correcting. And it really makes me think of something kind of funny, which is partially that if we now start looking at the all-time highs, right? Did you realize that many coins are actually down like 50% or so from their last month high points? Isn't that kind of interesting to some extent, that they're down this much in such a short amount of time? And I've stated a while back that at some point, some coins will get quote unquote cheaper again in better priced areas. But I don't know, it feels like Bitcoin was in such a good course that it was not going to hit the way it's done now. Because what we've kind of witnessed now is another April to March type of situation where Bitcoin doesn't really go down that much, but altcoins just kind of slow bleed. And so back then also, many alts fell 70 or so percent, especially the AI coins from their, let's call it March to April high, even though Bitcoin fell a little bit, sure, but it didn't really go down that much. And now a similar situation has happened yet again. Now, the interesting part becomes when you look at coins like XRP or ETH. Matter of fact, XRP again, or actually I should say still, is winning on the Bitcoin front. This is the XRP chart relative to Bitcoin. Recently here, it's still actually been going up. So that is actually quite funny. The fact that we are still seeing the price do like that. By the way, if you want to trade crypto, I've got a link down below to 𝗏𝗏. And right now, for the next week or two, I'm giving away 2 iPhone 16s. So if that's something you're interested in, check out the link down below. But no, a little fun fact. You might find this funny, but I opened another trade on virtual. It's not doing too well. We're down roughly 107% or so. This is actually up a ton the moment that I bought in. Right now it's down, but I'll hold through. I think it will be okay. And Bitcoin, I also added, I think, another $20,000 or so today at the $91,000 bottom. Let's just quickly go ahead and take a look. I'm not exactly sure when. So we originally bought, I guess, that bottom right there, maybe 92. No, I guess we originally bought somewhere here at like 95, I believe. Then I bought another $10,000 or so at 92. And now I bought another $15,000 or $20,000 at 91, I think, something like that. Let's quickly check it out. Because it was just, I was in the car and I was thinking, you know what, let me quickly go ahead and buy some. So actually, it was pretty close to the bottom, except for this crazy wick that went to 89,000 on 𝗏𝗏. I'm not sure if that was universal though. But I guess there was 2 executions. Here was probably a small little buy that I did. But this was the main buy at roughly 90.9 thousand or 91.1. I can't remember exactly. And that's basically what I've been saying for a long time though. I was looking for XRP to make a little bit of a move or so, but it has not done it in a long time. I mean, this is cheap. $2.30, sure. Especially because we were saying, you know what, it's not that stupid to sell at the $2.60 mark. And again, the reason I'm not doing it is just like why I didn't sell at $2.50 previously, because it's all still kind of low. But it's interesting to me that XRP is holding up so nicely. Now, I should add here real quick, if we take a look at the liquidation numbers, that has been a little bit crazy, let's call it. So the last 24 hours, we again have seen such massive liquidations that it kind of makes you think, is ETH really a good asset? Because right now, there's even more liquidations on Ethereum than there is of Bitcoin, because the price of Ethereum fell so much more relatively. And it makes you think, really, isn't Ethereum just garbage like we always expected it to be? Well, at least this season, Ethereum has been ass. So today, liquidations, again, are not at the highest points ever or anything like that. But I guess a lot of people did not notice. But it's getting back to some of the higher points, even though Bitcoin is only down very little amounts. It's mostly because altcoins are repricing so heavily. And you might be asking yourself why. Well, a few statements did come out, and actually, I'd say 3 major things happened today. Let's quickly discuss them. And if you've not done it yet, make sure you press that like button. So thing number 1, I'd say that was quite crucial, is that BlackRock just stated that this whole crypto stuff, I think, outpaced the internet, mobile phones, all that stuff. Pretty big statement, pretty bullish if you ask me. Another one, I'm trying to think at the top of my head, because I see here there's some things, let's quickly see. Crypto outpaces mobile and internet growth. There we go. So you were correct on that. Jamie Dimon, let's just quickly read it off. Why not? Make it easier. The CEO, Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan and Chase, he basically stated that this whole crypto stuff is like vaporware. Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It's used heavily by traffickers, whatever. Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme that has no intrinsic value. And I mean, to some extent, I can get where he's coming from, because ultimately any market with supply and demand that has no thing you can really physically touch, to some extent might become, or called at least, a Ponzi scheme. Well, actually, when you start thinking about it, to some extent, gold is also a little bit of a Ponzi scheme, from the perspective that it's only worth as much as people are willing to pay for it, such as art. It's exactly the same, actually. Yeah, but the craftsmanship, yeah, like, what is the craftsmanship? What is the cost in that, right? It's like all this added value. And to some extent, with companies, the goodwill, but they don't really talk about that. Anyway, so the reason I'm saying you can make an argument for is because something is only worth as much as people are willing to pay for it. If everybody all of a sudden decides they don't want Bitcoin anymore, yes, the price goes down. But just similarly, if everybody decides on something, prices go down. And they're just talking about the bubble collapsing to some extent. But I kind of wonder what could be the cause of that. Because it's kind of similar, again, let me know if I'm wrong, but it's kind of similar to gold, where yes, it's being used for microchips. Yes, it's being used in some things, but generally I'd say 98% of the value that gold has right now comes from its idea of being a reserve type of asset, right? Very much so, silver is worth a ton more than gold in terms of the uses. But another good example is the US dollar, or any currency for that matter. If people stop believing in it, it has no value anymore. It doesn't really represent anything since the gold standard was gone. To put a notion out there, let's say I give you 1,000 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗏 right now. How much is that worth? Oh, nothing. But if we all of a sudden start adopting it all, it's worth a ton, right? Just like the US dollar. At some point it was worth nothing. All of a sudden it's worth a ton. But that is with the idea that it's backed by something. Now, all of a sudden you take away that backing, what do you have left? It's just a belief. It's just a promise. It's just, well, really kind of like a Ponzi scheme of sorts. Well, I guess it just depends on how you want to define this Ponzi scheme and how far you want to draw that line. I would say that it becomes more a matter of, is there really a high probability that somebody's going to pull the plug or that it's going to collapse? If not, then why even talk about it too much? But yeah, I guess you could make an argument for it, just like with the US dollar, just like with so many other things. So I give no value to that. Anyway, what I do give value to is Michael Saylor, yet again, buying $250 million worth of Bitcoin today. That's a lot, all right? I think his average price was, again, above $100,000. Not above $100,000. I think it was $95,000 if I'm actually trying to be a little bit more exact. And by the way, something else happened that I think was kind of nice. Jim Cramer a few hours ago said, truly a hideous opening, just a total washout coming, right? So he basically saved us all. If you're wondering, hey, can my crypto bags go down a lot further? Just know that Jim Cramer just saved every single one of you, as he just talked about everything coming down even more. And the moment he said that, things started going up, and Becker is going crazy on him. Man, there's more and more companies coming now, it's funny enough, that are just buying the freaking Bitcoin dip, huh? Similar Scientific acquired another 250 Bitcoin, $23 million, so at about $100,000 a coin. And it's kind of interesting to me that right now, a lot of these companies kind of seem stupid, perhaps, or we're looking at it thinking, you see, they're all, but soon enough, you realize that they're doing something quite significant. For example, Michael Saylor, he has accumulated 450,000 Bitcoin to be exact. It's kind of scary when you start thinking about the idea that there are only 21 million out there, and he bought the majority of, well, he didn't buy the majority of them yet, but 450,000 out of the maybe 16 million in total that will ever be available. He's doing a pretty interesting job. And it starts to become a question of how liquid will the coins really be at some point in the future when a lot of these companies start just buying them up and never letting go. I talked about it before that eventually it will nearly be impossible to hold a single Bitcoin. And you can relate this to other cryptos, sure, but right now the race is mostly happening for Bitcoin. You can see Ethereum is being left behind, going down 8% in a day. What a freaking scam. Not really, but it's been so surprising that XRP has really been one of the best out there, man. Specifically the last few days, been doing so good. Happy for my portfolio. It's not up and up and up. What would have been nicer, of course, but it's not going down as much when the rest is. So still holding my portfolio afloat a little bit. As I just said, I'm happy to see it. Having said that, those were the most important pieces of news for today. That's exactly what's going on. Some people said, oh, but the economic data. And understand that the entire market is down. It's not like just crypto is. Everything is down. Could be, but ultimately, who cares, right? It's not that big a dip. And with crypto, it's kind of funny that very often weekend gives you a little fake confidence, a little fake pump, and on Monday things start crashing. But right now, I'd say it's mostly just following the stock market. Stock market going down, Bitcoin going down, taking the entire crypto market by storm. And it begs the question, how, or at least to what extent, has Bitcoin or crypto got this inverse correlation now to traditional stocks and markets? Because that was, to some extent, the idea, right? That it would kind of act as a reserve, as gold, etc. But right now it seems to still not be doing that. And I wonder at some point, will it change? Will it go for a perfect inverse correlation, or will it stay / remain the way it currently is? Interesting question to talk about, to discuss, but we don't know the answer. We shall see. That was it for right now. If you also want to trade, link down below to Blowfin, check it out. Make sure you press the like button if you enjoyed it, and put the notification button on so you're always notified whenever something crazy happens. And that's about it for right now.